Make it. We're gonna make it.
Good morning. Hope you're enjoying the MKE Business Now Entrepreneurship Summit. The upcoming workshop that we have is Business Resources, COVID Response and Beyond. For those of you who are looking for financial resources for your business, today you will hear from WWBIC, the African American Chamber of Commerce, LISC, and KIVA to hear what some of your financial options are. Hope you enjoy the workshop.
Hi, this is Renee from KIVA and WWBIC. So happy to be a part of Alderwomen Coggs MKE Summit 2021. So welcome to all you aspiring entrepreneurs or current business owners. Happy to share some of our WWBIC information. I'll go ahead with some slides, and then if you have information or questions, we can connect afterwards. We have, hopefully a lot of you have heard about WWBIC, and if you haven't, we'll definitely go into some intros, and if you have, we'll get some details as well. So we do a lot of things. WWBIC serves so many different folks. Today we're going to talk a little bit about who we are, some of our educational support, some of our lending support, different things that are tied to the lending, as well as other volunteer opportunities. We'll end up with KIVA, and we'll end with the Q&A as follow-ups. We'll leave some email and phone number information too. All right, so you might recognize some of these folks in these pictures because all of them are current and past WWBIC clients throughout the state. Some of them may look familiar, lots of here in Milwaukee. So we're proud to have started here in Milwaukee. Started back in 1987, about 30 years ago. Now, besides Milwaukee, we have offices in Madison, Racine, Kenosha, Appleton. We're doing some out in the La Crosse area, just was announced. We have some local, national, regional, all sorts of great things. WWBIC does stand for Wisconsin Women Business Initiative Corporation. We were founded back in the 70s to primarily focus on women, but now, as you can see, we focus on lots of other folks as well, but folks who perhaps don't always have the number one advantage that other folks do, but we're open to all. And the services, we do lots of different kinds of services and quality business education, financial capability. We'll get into all of these in a few moments. Some of the loans and some of our, what we say technical assistance is really business support. The business education, we have over 400 events. Right now, as we're doing this, we do all of our classes online. A lot of them are taped. A lot of them, though, if you go to the actual class, you really can dialogue. They're all via Zoom where you can talk with the presenter. Some of them are webinars, but many are that you can just talk with the presenter and the other members as well. All of our classes are available via this website, classes. Look up wwbic.com/classes and you'll see them all. Lots of different topics from entrepreneurship, business planning, marketing, financing. We have some fun ones that we'll talk about in a minute. And we also have a lot of classes in Spanish. So whether it's you or perhaps you know some other business owners or family members, we have lots in Spanish as well. And speaking of the fun classes that we have starting coming up real soon. So in a week or so, we have February 4th. Once a month, we have these called Empower Hours. The February one is going to focus on retail. Definitely something that if you're thinking about retail or if you're in retail already, we would definitely encourage you to do that. February 12th, food licensing, near and dear to the city's heart. They've got a great team in their health department and things, and we've got some folks who will talk to you a little bit about food licensing because there's lots involved. Then one of the premier classes that we do, it's so popular because our February one is full, but we will start another one in April. It is called your Start, Run, Grow. It's where you learn how to write a business plan. But if we've got a waiting list, if you're really interested in doing that, which we definitely encourage folks to write that business plan, we might start one also in March, but for sure in April. And here's Jalen talking. He's in front of at JCP, in front of one of his spots here. But the business plan writing class would be great for everybody. And some people have a business without a business plan, nothing wrong with that. But oftentimes if you do need to get funding or you're growing or you're doing other things, that's really where you're looking at writing that business plan. So this class, it's a series. You would be working with an instructor and your classmates on writing that business plan. And the big piece in there are financials. Lots of people are great at what they do, whether it be hair or restaurant or construction, but really need some support on that those financials. So we have, we talk a lot about that in this class, and we have some cash flow classes too. Definitely encourage that class. Okay. So as far as, some of these coming up in 2021, these cash flow classes, all sorts of great things that you can take a look at. That's really your go-to spot. So other thing that you, as someone who is looking to start a business or who has a business already, you can talk to WWBIC about getting a volunteer. We have some people in marketing and cash flow as far as finances, bankers, other people who run businesses who can work with you one-on-one for an hour or two on a different project. They won't work with you. They don't create your website, but they could perhaps brainstorm on things that you could use to put into your website. So you can connect with one of us and we can get you someone to work with one-on-one for an hour or two on a specific project. Those people that we have are CPAs, attorneys. Oftentimes we have people who ask us to look at their partnership agreement. We can do that. Landlord agreement, we definitely want to help you out with that. Marketing, all those types of things. Another program that we have got and we're real proud of, we partnered with the Housing Authority of Milwaukee for our financial capability program. And we've got lots of classes. Some of you may have taken it already, or you have family members to make your money talk, but we have extra classes, all sorts of things to, as you're trying to become a business owner, you often, well, everybody at any point always needs to get their kind of personal house in order as far as their finances. All of us are looking at how we can better save, better budget, spend money wisely, or see what we need to do to save for all sorts of things. So we have these kinds of classes as well. And this was that Make Your Money Talk. If you are a resident or tied to some Section 8 housing, or you've got other folks in your family who are, let us know. And we've got some great programs for some match savings account for some of those folks and family members, and anybody can really take these classes. As I said, everybody, especially as you're starting a business, you really do need to starting to save so you can kind of grow your business and grow yourself. So speaking of money, if people are looking at a loan, there's a couple different ways. At the end, we'll talk about KIVA, that's small funding. This is a little larger. For this kind of funding, there are a couple things that we have. You would have access to if you're looking to start or grow. There are a couple different ways that we can help you with that. And this is real important to know. The reason why we talk about business plan writing first is because you have to have a business plan in order to apply for a WWBIC loan. But again, we would help you, support you in that writing. We could have a volunteer or someone look that over with you. Lots of different supports for that. Because it's a big deal to borrow money, and the folks who are looking at lending you the money want to make sure that you've got everything set up and you've got a team of people supporting you. Their loans go up to $250,000, and if you can get a bank loan, more power to you. Definitely, we have lots of great bank partners. I know U.S. Bank and a few other banks out there, Town and PNC, and all those great banks who are partnering with the summit even today have opportunities for lending. If you can get a loan with them, please do. Typically a little lower than us. We specialize in startups or folks who are years in who perhaps have spent all of their money on their business or other things, and the bank says, we can lend to you, but give us a few years. So we are oftentimes that first person who can lend to a borrower. So it's going to be about 9.25%. There are some special loans. We do have a couple of special loans, veteran loans. We have some loans for folks in the Havenwood, West Lawn area, about 4 to 7%. So if you're interested in that, please do contact us. So a couple special loans with some lower rates, but the average rate right now is 9.25. And you as the business owner have to be actively involved. They can be used for startup, equipment, sometimes buildings if it's a part of your business, but we definitely can talk through that. We do have an on-demand session called WWBIC Loan Process A to Z. So that's a really great place to look at there, or we can talk one-on-one after. To kind of get a look at what you might need to apply, there's an application, so you can peek at that on the website. There's a $75 non-refundable fee. So you want to make sure you're ready to apply prior to doing all of this. Getting ready to apply is getting that business plan ready, making sure your financial and numbers look. Then once you're ready with that, the turnaround time typically is 5 to 9 weeks. So it's a longer process because our loan officers really want to try to say yes. So they're weighing a lot of things, your strength in your business experience. You know, you might have worked at a few different places that's now you're starting that kind of business. And then they'll look at your personal finances and the business finances. So lots of different documents that you'll kind of need to start getting ready. On the business side, your business plan and some of your financials. On your personal side, taxes. And we do pull credit, but we have worked with folks who have gotten loans who have credit from 500 to 800. So if you have, credit in your 500 or 600, it's not bad. You just need to make sure that you have payment plans set up and you don't have anything outstanding that's not accounted for in a payment plan. So lots of things that we can work out with people. And also you would want to make sure if you're looking to borrow, for example, $50,000 to start and do some build out for different things, you would need to have about $5,000 saved. So usually about 10% of what you're looking to borrow is what you need to have saved. We do have our underwriters, look at that real closely. They will go back and forth and ask you some questions. If you do have that approved, then it's another couple of weeks to have that loan, what we call is closed, where the money would turn around. So usually we say about 2 to 3 months for that loan process, and we will work with you along the way. And if you do happen to get a loan and that's what you're going towards, again, about 60 to 70% of the people who apply are approved right away. If not, we work with that person to work with them on other things so that they can get approved later on. But once you do get a loan, you do get a small business consultant who will work one-on-one with you, give you some promotional networking opportunities. We have some different opportunities for everybody. So if you're wondering what kinds of businesses we lend to, all sorts of things, from food, manufacturing, construction, salons, arts, entertainment, transportation, all sorts. So speaking of lending, one great way to start is KIVA. So if you are just needing a little bit, 5 to 15,000, for example, you can do this. Some of you might recognize Teresa. She's in Alderwoman Coggs area there in Deshays area. She's great at Voluptuous Secrets here. That's her store. She had gotten a KIVA loan, and it's a crowd-funded loan, meaning that you have a profile on the web that we would help you prepare, and you are asking individuals initially to lend to you, and then it goes out to the world to have people lend to you as well. The great thing about this, it's 0%. So again, it's smaller amount, but it's 0%. There's no fees. You can request up to 15. Typically, new businesses are approved for about 5 to 6,000. But there's a variety of different things. You work with WWBIC. It's an easier process though than a WWBIC loan. So let me go through that process. And again, we're just reminding folks it is 0%. Loans range from 1,000 to 15, and you would pay that back. It is a loan, even though it's crowdfunded, it still is a loan. So a really important piece is that you're paying that back, and you would choose the term between 1 year and 3 years. And what we often see is kind of this ladder here. You'll have some presentations by banks or other folks who they definitely will get involved a little later on, but you could perhaps borrow 4,000 or 5,000 from us, maybe go to one of the chambers. I know African American Chambers presenting among folks. They've got some loans too. You could borrow money from them, then you can borrow money from WWBIC, then the banks. So there's lots of different ways that folks can go about borrowing money. But this KIVA easier process to get you started, you go online and to kiva.org/borrow. We'll have that at the end. And you would prepare a few different things. You have a loan profile where you're going to talk about your business. And instead of writing a full business plan, you do not need that for KIVA. You need a paragraph or so about yourself, a paragraph or so about your business, and then you would answer about 20 or 30 questions. It's about a 25-minute questionnaire for that application. And this is a little bit about what it looks like. Your profile would be here where this gentleman is. It says a loan of, for him, 10,000 helps to pay for all sorts of different things. And then at the bottom here on the right is his story. So, he grew up in St. Vincent, so it really is, KIVA is something that is geared towards supporting folks started globally. So it really, is one of its pushes of folks of global majority, folks who, again, want to borrow and perhaps can't borrow from a bank, but this is a really good stepping stone here. And it's private fundraising is your first stage where you would have to ask it says 5 to 40. Typically, they ask you about 10 or 15 people that you would need to ask individually to lend $25 to your PayPal KIVA account. They don't pay you, they pay it through KIVA, but you have to get that short list of folks ready to lend to you. Then it goes to the public phase, and this is where the magic of KIVA is, where it goes to open to the world. We had a recent one. I help a lot with the West Dallas folks. We had Anna of Pieces of Love. She's a Latina baker, and she funded in a few days and had about 150 people lending to her from around the world. So she only had to get like 10 or 20, and then 150 people find you on the web, and KIVA helps make that magic happen. And so you have some time for it to be funded. So you have 15 days to get your initial private lenders. Then you have 30 days to get the rest of the public people. So that could be 45 days at the most. And then if you're fully funded, if you're not fully funded, you do not get any of the money. So you have to go all the way. We used to, in the past, just give everybody 10,000. That didn't work out for lots of folks. So that's why they're a little tighter. They want people to be paying back, and plus they want people to reach that fundraising goal. So it's a little easier this way to kind of keep it a little lower, but then we can have some more success of you being fully funded. Then, of course, as I said, the important thing of repayment. It's a big deal, and this is a loan, and you want to make sure that you're paying back your borrowers, your friends and family, as well as the rest of the world. As you can see here, there's just to kind of recap on the process where you're submitting this loan application, typically about 30 minutes to an hour. One important thing here that we talk about, we want you to have some business proof. All of that will help. You have to have a good picture. It's not a selfie. It's not a Facebook pic. It's a picture of you in front of the business or you in front of your service. We can help with that as well. KIVA will look at it. It takes about a week or so, week to 10 days. Then you start your fundraising process. So all in all, probably could take about a month and a half kind of for that to go. The nice thing about this is it's a good first step where you don't need a business plan, but you do need your story and you need your folks who are going to lend to you. and then you need to prove that you are going to be able to pay that back. So some great business ideas have started this way. I went through that kind of fast, so I will leave this page on there as far as some folks want to look at and write down our contact information for KIVA. And for Olivia, you would be working with Olivia for Milwaukee. And if you know some folks in West Dallas, I handle some of those folks, but we kind of help each other out. And for WWBIC, again, getting back, because we've got great classes, great volunteers, great folks for larger lending. So please do take a look. We have we have lots of good information on our website. That information will be shared. And some of you may get a resource pack. We have a postcard in there with some information as well. So thanks again, Alderwoman Coggs and Deshae and Diana for asking us to do this. And I'm excited that you guys are starting your entrepreneurship journey or continuing on. So please do reach out to me at any point. Thanks so much and have a good rest of your morning.
All right. Good morning. My name is Jonna Moore, and I am with the African American Chamber of Commerce, and I am the program manager. And today I will be talking to all of you about the programming and the different opportunities and resources that we offer to entrepreneurs here in the city of Milwaukee. And so once again, we are the African American Chamber of Commerce of Wisconsin. And so just a little bit about who we are and what we do. So our mission, we champion the growth and sustainability of African American owned businesses by providing three things. We provide access to capital, education, and advocacy. And we do this through capacity building and strategic partnerships. And our vision is for African American owned businesses and entrepreneurs to promote the economic vibrancy of our community by providing limitless opportunities in the workplace. And so a little bit about what we offer, and this is also what I'll be further talking to you all about today, is our programming and our access to capital. So these two components of the chamber are very important for our entrepreneurs because these are the resources that we provide to ensure that all of our entrepreneurs are successful and that they have the support that they need to thrive here in the city of Milwaukee. And so with our programming, we offer two different types of programs that help entrepreneurs. Our first is our RISE MKE entrepreneurial training program. And then the second is our SPUR program, which is currently called our SPUR Recovery Series. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. The second thing is our access to capital. So how do we help and support entrepreneurs as far as being able to fund their business? And so we do that through two different avenues. We have our KIVA loan, and then we also have our revolving loan fund, which is something else that I'll be talking about much later in our presentation. So jumping into our programming, the first thing is our RISE MKE entrepreneurial training program. So RISE is our 14-week entrepreneurial program for startup businesses here in the city of Milwaukee. So we always look for entrepreneurs who are just starting their business, which means that they have about a year of experience within it, and they kind of have the framework for it, but they're still trying to figure things out. And so we work with those entrepreneurs for 14 weeks, and we help them develop their full plan and full business strategy in order to thrive and make sure that their business is up and running. And so as we were working with the RISE program and getting the RISE program up and moving, just a little bit of background of how it got started. It was adapted from a Cincinnati-based training accelerator called Mortar, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we were able to adapt their program and bring it here to Milwaukee to offer it to all of the entrepreneurs here. And with that, we were able to create a strategic partnership with LISC Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Urban League to help us get the program off the ground. And so there are a few focus areas that we ensure that we focus on during the RISE program to make sure that all of the entrepreneurs are totally set up for success. And so we look at different areas such as branding, marketing, financials, business network development. We also look at pricing, and we also work on pitching your business. And so with that, we make sure that entrepreneurs are set up to be able to pitch their business to anyone who may ask. And so we also help them prepare for pitching their business as we get to the end of our 14 weeks, and we have what's called a pitch night. And so pitch night is where entrepreneurs are selected and they are able to pitch their business in front of a panel of judges as well as an audience. And there are 2 to 3 winners at the end of pitch night, with lots of monetary awards and different offerings that will help them be more successful after the program is complete. We offer we have facilitators that facilitate the program, and most of the facilitators, or all of the facilitators, sorry, are facilitators who are also entrepreneurs. And so those entrepreneurs who have experience and they've, been in the game for quite some time, we use those entrepreneurs to help facilitate the program. And so there are always 2 facilitators per cohort, and they facilitate the entire 14 weeks, and they, dive in with the entrepreneurs for the entire time. And there's also a curriculum. So the program is curriculum based, and we use a curriculum to help guide the program, and the curriculum does come with the 14 weeks, and you are able to keep the curriculum when we're done. The other things that we offer with the RISE program is coaching. So there is a master coach by the name of Deirdre Kendricks who comes in and she works with the entrepreneurs individually as well as in groups, because we believe that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you not only have to understand your why for why you're doing your business, but we also want you to understand who you are in the process and know and learn that your personal and your entrepreneurial journey, they go hand in hand. And so we always want to make sure that what you're doing is aligning with who you are. We also offer mentoring with our RISE program, which is done and in partnership with SCORE Mentoring. And so we partnered with SCORE and we match entrepreneurs with other SCORE mentors who have business experience, and they're able to give that extra support to our entrepreneurs. For each cohort, we do 15 participants per cohort. And we are just now finishing up our cohort 4 and cohort 5, which is something new that we did in 2020, where we worked with 2 cohorts at the same time. And so we normally have 15 participants per cohort. And these last 2 cohorts, 4 and 5, will be wrapping up in March of this year with their pitch night. So please be on the lookout for that. The program itself only costs $250, and it's a great investment into your business and into yourself. Our next part of our program is our Spur Recovery Series. And with our Spur Recovery Series, initially this was a program that was just considered to be Spur. But when COVID-19 took place, we had to figure out how to pivot and figure out how we could be more resourceful during those difficult times and still during these difficult times. And so we created a recovery series, which included 5 to 6 webinars that would happen within a month's time, a month to a month and a half time. And so during that time, we would focus on different focus areas similar to RISE, but it would be considered around business, marketing, finances, and we would also look at things such as your tax benefits and figuring those types of things out. And then when we created the COVID-19 recovery series, we added e-commerce to that series as well to help entrepreneurs figure out that different avenue or that pivot for them, and what does that look like as we pivot during COVID-19? Because in the beginning, we weren't open, businesses weren't open, everyone was at home, and so how do you cover from that? And so we created a e-commerce series that showed businesses and entrepreneurs how to create e-commerce and how to do that with the businesses that you offer. So if you are a personal trainer, maybe it's recording yourself as the personal trainer, doing the videos and then sending them to your clients. If you are a jewelry maker, maybe it's not being able to sell in person, but creating a website so that you're able to sell all of your merchandise that way and then mail it off to your clients. So creating those different avenues through e-commerce, and then also creating the entrepreneurial mindset. So with COVID-19 taking place, it could definitely be one of those things that, puts you in the mind frame of, you can't do this, you won't be able to make it, you can't sustain. But there are definitely ways to continue to be great in what you're doing. And so we also offered a series on, or a webinar on, creating the entrepreneur mindset and how do you keep going during difficult times, because it is definitely and certainly possible to do so. And then once all of the series have been recorded, it is open to the public. It's open to anyone who would like to attend the webinars. But if you aren't able to attend the webinars, we record them as well, and then we add them to our website so that you can still catch the information at a later time. And there is no cost for the Spur Recovery Series. It is free to all entrepreneurs. And you do not have to be a member at this time, because we want to ensure that all of the resources that we can provide, that we're able to share them with everyone who needs them at this time. And so then I'm going to jump into our access to capital. And so with our access to capital, we have two components that we offer. The first is our KIVA loan, and I won't go into too much detail about the KIVA loan because I know that WWBIC is going to also take a big deep dive into KIVA. But we, as the chamber, we also offer the KIVA loan to small businesses as a loan of up to $10,000. And then we partner with WWBIC as well to offer those funds. And so we are partnered with them as a trustee. And if you can't get the loan through us, you can certainly go through WWBIC to do so. And it is open for all of our members through us and through WWBIC. So definitely use KIVA as a resource. This is one of the loans that we always encourage entrepreneurs to try first. And then if the KIVA loan does not work for you, then we offer what we call the revolving loan fund, or our RLF. And so jumping into the revolving loan fund, we start with that with gap financing. So we offer up to between $5,000 and $35,000 in funding. And with that, it's a 6% interest rate on that. And so with the use of this loan, we expect for entrepreneurs to use this loan for operating capital, machinery and equipment, building renovation, and bonding assistance. Those are the four things that this loan is good for. And then the chamber offers additional support with this revolving loan fund. So we help you work on your credit and getting things right if you do not get approved for this loan. And so we want to ensure that if you don't do the KIVA loan and you want to do the revolving loan fund, you'll get that extra support and that technical assistance that you need to ensure that you can get these funds at a later time. And so that concludes my portion of the presentation today. On behalf of the African American Chamber of Commerce, once again, my name is Jonna Moore. I am the program manager with the Chamber. If you need to contact me, or if you have any further questions, You can reach our office at 414-462-9450, or you can reach the direct line for me at 414-935-5833, or you can email me at jmoore@aaccwisconsin.org. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Welcome everybody. My name is Beth Haskovic. I'm a program officer at LISC Milwaukee, and I'm excited to share today about our Brew City Match program. This is a program that LISC takes the lead on, but it's not a LISC program. It's a collaborative program with the community. So we work with a lot of different partners, including the City of Milwaukee, WWBIC, the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, Legacy Redevelopment, and 4 business improvement districts throughout Milwaukee. And I'll share a map of those and talk a little bit more about those during my presentation. But it's an exciting resource for businesses, in particular businesses that are looking to be a startup business in our corridors, as well as businesses that are looking to expand, either existing businesses within those corridors that are looking to expand, or businesses that are looking for a second location within one of our 4 corridors. So I'm going to share a presentation with you today about Brew City Match, talk a little bit more about LISC as well and our work, and then share my contact information. I wish I could be meeting with all of you in person, but obviously that isn't the world we live in right now. So I look forward to connecting with anybody who has additional questions at the end of the presentation. So LISC is, we are a national CDFI, which means we're a financial institution that does lending both for commercial real estate development as well as small business development. We have a lot of our work is focused on what resonates in an individual community and working alongside residents and partners to make more inclusive communities and to create opportunity across the country. We have 36 locations across the country, and our focus is on quality of life, making great places for people to live, work, visit, do business, and raise their families. So we do this in a lot of different ways. We're an investor. We have public and private dollars to give out. We build capacity, so we work with a lot of nonprofit partners throughout the community to provide training, provide grants and loans, and other assistance that they might need to grow and be strong. And that includes advocacy work both on the local, regional, and national level. We're a convener, so we bring partners together to talk about issues throughout the community. And we're an innovator. We want to find out what's working across the country and help bring those models to Milwaukee. And that's where we came up with the Brew City Match program. Brew City Match is based on a program in Detroit called Motor City Match. And there was a lot of planning work and visits of a lot of civic leaders to understand what was happening in Detroit and how we could bring that to Milwaukee. And the focus of Brew City Match is really supporting people, and in this case, entrepreneurs and places, looking at our corridors and seeing how can we strengthen the historic commercial corridors in our neighborhoods and bring investment into our neighborhoods. That downtown is a great place and we want to see a thriving downtown, but our neighborhoods are equally as important, and we want to make sure there's healthy, strong places for businesses to go in our neighborhoods. So just a little bit more about Brew City Match. We started in 2018. As I mentioned, we have 4 corridors. So we launched within the historic King Drive corridor, North Avenue in Fond du Lac and Lindsay Heights, the near west side, just west of downtown, and Cesar Chavez Drive on the near south side. And all of this work was funded by JPMorgan Chase. They awarded us a $3.5 million grant from Brew City Match to work with our partners, as well as to provide capital and small grants to business owners. And I mentioned all of our partners earlier. Our focus is on the Greater Milwaukee United initiative, which is looking at investment, both housing and economic development in the neighborhoods around downtown. And here's a quick map for those of you who are visual and kind of want to see the ring neighborhoods. We are hoping to increase the neighborhoods we're working with in 2021, and we're in the process of doing that. But here's currently the footprint that we're in right now, and what we did to define this geography is select those corridors where we have strong partners in our business improvement districts, and then kind of draw a 1 square mile radius around those corridors, so we're encompassing some of the little nodes of commercial activity within the neighborhoods as well. So what does this all mean for you as the business owner? I call Brew City Match a choose your own adventure, in that there is a lot of opportunities for business owners, and we want to plug you in exactly where you're at in your process of starting your new business. And so we love to start with business planning for anybody who has an idea but doesn't have a business plan. Understanding your niche as a business and your financial projections and the expenses that you think you will take on as startup costs is a really important first step, both in planning for yourself, but also for garnering additional investment and support for your business. Just being able to clearly communicate all the wonderful ideas that are in your head as a business owner and the excitement that you have for your product or service, and getting that on paper so you can start to build more partners around your idea and help make your vision become a reality. So the business planning track is really focused on that. We partner with WWBIC. Any business who is selected as a winner within the business planning track for Brew City Match, it receives a free business class that's usually a $250 value at WWBIC, and they're able to participate in those classes. It's usually a series of 10 to 12 classes over a course of time. Once that business plan is in place, we look to pair businesses with available real estate in our neighborhood, so that's the space track. You don't necessarily need to have gone through the WWBIC class if you already have a business plan, but we are really looking for businesses that have a lot of a really strong business plan in place already. So for the space track, and those that are selected in this track receive services and technical support both from the City of Milwaukee's commercial corridor team as well as those 4 business improvement districts, and they help to match them with property owners, set up open houses and real estate tours when that's safe to do in this current environment. And we help to communicate what's available for them in terms of commercial real estate and match business owners with that real estate and make sure that there's a good partnership there with the property owner. And then once a business owner has a business plan, they've identified a space in one of our corridors, they can apply for the cash track. And the cash track is open, again, to any business owner that already has that business plan, has a signed lease, or even better, just a letter of intent, knows what the costs of getting the space ready for the business owner will be. We hope that the majority of the infrastructure the building owner will take care of, but that there might be some construction needed to build out the space for the particular business that you have, and that you already have some funds ready to invest in the business. And winners in this track receive access to financing, as well as small grants for architectural and design services. And that could be anything from hiring an interior designer, hiring an artist to create artwork for the space, or needing to have architectural renderings to make improvements to the space as well. And then we also provide grants for marketing your startup. So that's the business owner track. As I mentioned, we work closely as well with building owners. And this is important for business owners to know as well, as you're looking at a space, to kind of understand what's needed to get the space ready for occupancy. And so we do that matchmaking service with the building owners, as I mentioned. We also provide those same design and architectural grants to the building owner. They can also use those for building assessment costs. And then if there are gaps in financing for redeveloping the property or getting the property ready for the business, we can provide both financing and grants through Bruce City Match, and then also match those with the City of Milwaukee resources, the White Box and Facade grant programs. So we're looking at, what all is out there to make these projects happen, and how can we leverage and match what everybody else has available, so we can create some really great real estate for these projects, for these small businesses. Now, this is important for business owners to know, because if you do find a building in one of our corridors where we haven't already connected with the building owner, you can make that connection with us, and we can work with the building owner and on these resources so that the space can be built out for you and ready for occupancy. And we really do encourage that the building owner take on the majority of the infrastructure, like electrical, plumbing, and getting the space white boxed, which means just having it ready so it's ready for the business to put in what they need to put in, because it's their investment, and they're the ones that are going to get the equity out of the real estate. But we think it's important for the business owner to understand what are those enhancements to the space that are particular to your business, that you can put in terms of the investment in the property. So we've had a lot of successes this far, and this is my favorite part, is sharing the stories of the people behind what we're doing. So on the top, we have a fitness group that won in our business planning class and also participated in a pop-up shop initiative. The pop-up shop initiative is on hold until the economy opens up a little bit more, but that is another option in our corridors, to have a temporary retail space to get a chance to work out some of the kinks of your business. And then Alicui, Rita Estremera below is, she has a soap and a body product company, and she participated in our pop-up shop and then opened her business more permanently in St. Anne Center in Lindsay Heights. And now she's ready to grow and look for a small manufacturing warehouse to store her products and to create some and have an additional space to build out her business. So we're working with her on the space track through Bruce City Match to do that. So we like to work with business owners all the way through the pipeline and help see them connect and use these resources to make your dreams come true. I like the reason I call it a choose your own adventure book is because I really do think we want to plug people in where they're at, and we want to, as long as you guys stay at the table, we want to work with you all the way until that ribbon cutting ceremony at the end. So there's a lot of other statistics here. We've done 3 rounds of competition. We have 2 more here in 2021, one in the fall and one in the summer. We've had 131 winners to date, and that's both business owners and property owners. 94% of our entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs of color, and 80% are women-owned businesses. So we're really proud of those statistics, and that we're making sure to connect business owners who are representative of the neighborhoods that we work in. So for more information about the program, I recommend that you visit brucecitymatch.com. There's a lot of information that I shared today on the website, as well as more in-depth program guidelines that you can read through and get a better sense of the program, and great media sharing some success stories of some of the winners that we've worked with through the program. I'll also share my contact information. My email is bhaskovic@lisc.org, and you have my phone number there in case you need to connect. And with that, I am really excited. I'm very passionate about working with small business owners. I'm really excited that all of you have taken the time today to spend a little additional time learning about what resources are out there for your business. And I wish you all the best in your journey. Take care.
Make it, yeah, yeah. We're gonna make it.